Good morning. This is Ron Rohde, Sales and Business Growth Consultant with PME 360. On the line, I have Ryan Paul Adams with me. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
PME 360 works with local small and medium-sized businesses to power their growth online. And we power local small and medium-sized businesses by providing local internet marketing services, strategy, and consulting. Today, we're going to talk a little bit why that local search is so important. But we really believe that small to medium-sized businesses are the lifeblood of our nation's economy. What Ryan and myself do is work with these local small to medium-sized businesses to really help navigate the complex landscape that has become local search and local internet marketing. The businesses that we work with obtain quantum growth. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the local search changes, strategies, and what you can do to help start your 2013 off on the right foot. So Ryan, why local search is so important and what changes have occurred? There's been a lot of activity and I'm excited about today's topic.
Yeah, I think this is a good one. We've dedicated a lot of time to this for our clients, and I think it's exciting to share this in this format.
Sure. So just to go through some statistics, why local search is so important. It's obvious that Google and the other search engines have revolutionized the way in which we do business and the way in which we, as consumers, behave and really collaborate, shop, etc. There's over 10 billion unique searches done each month online in the United States alone. Okay. Of those searches, there's been a tremendous shift to really local search. And just to go through some quick stats here, I don't want to throw too many out, but it's been shown now that 20% of desktop queries now have local intent. So that's a pretty good amount of people that are searching for localized keyword terms, localized businesses, whether it's a geographic location, a zip code, a street name. People are starting to search longer-tailed, and those longer tails are contained in local search terms. 5% of those terms include a city and state. Okay. 2% contain informal terms like neighborhoods. So if you're in the Chicago area, you're searching for a pizzeria in Old Town, or perhaps you're searching for a bar in Lakeview or Wrigleyville, 2% of those searches have local intent. And then 50% of those searches, 50% of mobile queries have local intent. So there's really a big shift here, Ryan, and just looking at those stats, 10 billion unique searches, then what can we surmise then from some of those numbers?
Well, you're looking at, doing the math, is 2 billion unique local searches per month on Google, which is massive. I mean, you're talking just massive numbers, and it can be absolutely life-changing for a local business to be in front of just a small percentage of those searches in their local market. And there is no other marketing out there or vehicle that I could think of that could put you in front of this many people that quickly, unless you have $1 million budget for TV. And even that, I don't even think works as well as this does. It's just a massive opportunity here. And that's just Google search, right? Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Is that what we're pulling the data from?
That's correct.
So, I mean, that doesn't even include people who, are on ESPN.com and can see an ad for, a local company in some other way. So there's other opportunities to get. There's even more. This is even more than what they're showing here.
Right. No, so right. So in other words, that this doesn't really come into play. It doesn't factor in any sort of searches that are being done, say, within social media sites or on, let's say, even YouTube or for that matter, really the only platform this is looking at is Google. So this is just pure raw data.
This is just pure search. That's it.
Right.
And it's just massive opportunity for local businesses.
So what can businesses do then, Ryan, to, ensure that they're trying to capture a little bit of piece of this? Because really, one of the things that we've run into is in the past, there's been really high barrier to entry for businesses to be able to compete. But really what we've learned about local and what PME 360 has done is really remove those high barriers to entry for these local small to medium sized businesses. So if you had to come up with a list of 5 quick, easy things to do to start the new year, whether they're quick or whether they're easy, of course, that's all up to the individual. But 5 things that a business could do to try to capture some of this traffic. And of course, I know that we have a formula for it. What do you think those 5 things could be?
Well, I can kind of take you through what my thought process is. If you really want to do this the right way and you want to get your local business found in your local market and get new customers, these are some of the steps that I would take. The number one thing is you can do this without a website. You can actually get new prospects and new clients without a website. But if you're really going to do this, you need a website. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And I don't think you need to go and build a 100-page website or even a 20-page website. Start off with what you can afford to do, 3 to 5 pages. And here's what I would focus on that website is making sure that you've got a good call to action, up in the header area, up in the top right, call us today for XYZ, phone number in an easy to read format. Make sure that the number 1 is in front of the number. And the reason why I'm saying this is that if somebody is on a mobile device and they're outside of your area, but they're still looking for, to work with you, if you don't have that 1 in front of the number, most cell phone carriers won't complete that call. So it's just a little detail, and I see it all the time. People don't put the 1 in front of the number. It can be if the website's set up in the right way, as far as a mobile device recognizing that site, people can click on that number right from within their mobile device, and it will connect them right to your office. So include that. Good web form, on every page with, again, your offer, and have a good one. Have a good offer to pull them in. Don't be afraid to offer a discount or something to entice them to pick up the phone or to complete that web form.
Sure.
And these are more general ideas that some of them don't relate to local necessarily. They're stuff that we use for a lot of different things. But
well, one of the first things I think the business wants to mention is really where they are located, right? So in addition to having, the phone number, call to action on the top, you're going to want to, of course, reference where you're located. You're going to want to make mention to your neighborhood or your proximity or your location within some of the wording and the verbiage on the site. But let's go back to the first point, right? Creating a new website. And I don't want to throw you off track, and I appreciate where you're going with the other things. As a business owner and say, oh gosh, here we go, I got to create a new website. How complex is that for a small to medium sized business? Let's say they're working with a firm, third-party firm, possibly they're working with PME 360, they're working with someone else. What are the things that they should look for? And what can they expect to, how quickly can they expect to get up and running? I think that's what we run into a lot is that, these businesses think that it's a huge undertaking, and yes, it is a lot of work, but maybe we can focus a little bit on that. So let's say, okay, I want to create a new website. I want to make sure it's local. I want to do all the things I need to do to attract local customers. Can you shed a little light on that?
Well, I think one of the biggest questions you can ask your web developer is if they're saying that they understand local search and they understand how to build a website for your local market, just simply ask them, have you ever worked with micro formats? And I think you'd be able to weed out 95% of the posers or the pretenders in this space, because if they don't know what micro formats are at this point, a schema, an Hcard, H reviews, they're not the right choice to build up this website because they don't understand the local landscape.
So that's good. That's very good. So can you drill down into that? So micro format as opposed to what? Maybe perhaps elaborate on that. I know we don't want to get too technical here, but what are some of the things that kind of sniff out? And I like the way you're going here.
Well, so the next step in my list here is to create what we call the NAP, your name, address, and phone number,
Yep.
right? And this is really, really important. It has to be consistent everywhere that this is going to appear online. So decide right now, how do you want to be known online? You might already have a Google Plus local listing, right? Google your name and see how Google's treating you and seeing how they register your name online. You might want to run with what they already have because it's easier to run with it, the name, how they're seeing you right now versus trying to change it.
Sure. And just as an example, if some people are asking questions, well, my business name is my business name and phone number. Well, these are small details such as, if you're an LLC or if you're a LTD or if you're, so-and-so business, incorporated. So some of those small details is really what you're referring to, right?
Yeah. You don't want Google to see you as two separate businesses, right? So if you're, Fred's roofing company, right? And you spell out company and you don't want to use the LLC at the end.
Yep.
You want to be known as Fred's roofing company, right? If you don't have Chicago in your business name or Portland, Fred's roofing company, right? That's the end part of the NAP, your name.
Yep.
We've established that moving forward.
Consistency all throughout, whether it's on your website, on the directories, where you're listed with Google, everywhere. Make sure that you determine how you want to be known and roll with it.
So Google can establish a really tight relationship between your website and all of these links and citations and directories and everything else that are out there. All your profiles all match. So
and you're essentially kind of making it easier for Google to recognize you, right? I guess in layman's terms, you could say there's no confusion.
Think of it from a customer standpoint. Google's trying to make a better user experience for the people that pay the bills for Google, right? Google makes money when people click on ads and use their search engine. So they're looking at it as like, well, we're not doing this just for Google purposes. We're doing it for the customers who are looking for your business. They want to see consistency. They don't want to see 10 different business names for the same company.
Right.
Right? So you don't want confusion in your market.
Right. User experience. Yep.
It's all ties back to that. And it just makes Google's life a lot easier if they can establish, that consistency really quickly. And the next part of it is address. Make sure that you've established how do you want to be known online with your address. Again, do a Google search and see if you already have data out there and what is it already saying your address is.
Right.
And
what I've seen, and just to interject, let's say your business at one time was using a P.O. box, or at one time you moved locations, or you moved down the street. You want to make sure that you have gone in and really cleaned that information up, right?
You got to
make sure that again, user experience, going back to, okay, well, is this company located on 4th Street or is this company located on 3rd Street, right?
That data has to be consistent. Every directory, every local listing, every website that you appear on, that address has got to be the same. So this takes time. This takes effort. This is not easy to do, but it has to be done. If you want to,
and there are a number of directories that are just auto-populated, right? So you have to go in and verify those directories, and that takes a little bit of time. So, for example, Google Places could have your Google Plus Local could have your business name. If you're the business owner that hasn't claimed that listing, that's what you want to do, and you want to do that multiple times for other directories, correct?
You got it. Yep. And then phone number. I've seen this mistake made a lot, is call tracking numbers. A lot of companies, local businesses have hired like a third-party service to do some marketing for them or whatever, and they use a call tracking number that isn't their actual phone number. And again, this just creates confusion in the market because you've got multiple phone numbers that go to the same business, but they're not. It's just not consistent. So establish what phone number is going to be part of your NAP, and that's the one that you want to appear everywhere moving forward.
So are you saying to get rid of call tracking?
I'm not. You can use call tracking. It has to be used in a certain way. And the way we do it at PME 360 is we've developed a system to dynamically insert the call tracking number into the site. So we can still provide call tracking data and really zero in on how well is your website working, how well is your blog performing, how many phone calls are you getting, and getting that data, but the search engine still sees your actual NAP, your actual phone number that we want for data consistency.
Yep.
And when a visitor, an actual visitor that comes to your site, the phone number is switched out with a call tracking number. That's the only time that it would change, is if an actual visitor. But for bots and Google and stuff like that, they see the regular phone number. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. What you're trying to do is provide a way to track what's going on your site. Google's not going to
penalize. But at the same time, you're providing the actual phone number that's in your name, address, the NAP that you're talking about. So again, user experience is there, consistency is there, but so at the same time you could do call tracking, great, because I know a lot of businesses have done that, and some businesses have 10, 12 different call tracking numbers, but you want to use the main number and figure out a way to dynamically insert the number in. Great, very good.
And you don't want to use that call tracking number anywhere else. You don't want to use it in a listing or your social media account. Or that you want to make sure again that phone number you've established as your main number is the one that you use everywhere else in your citations and local listings and elsewhere.
Right. That's very important. That's a huge thing right there, because I know a lot of businesses are using call tracking the way to identify, like you said, to call track. Yeah. But you can't use those in your citations. It's very important.
And so you've established your NAP, and now you want to make sure that it's inserted into your site in the right format so that Google can establish a clear relationship with that NAP and understand in other directories and other places that use the micro format data can identify that, this is Fred's roofing company in Chicago, Illinois. All that data matches and it's in the right format. I can find it easily on your site. And the formats I'm talking about are schemas and Hcards. I would recommend putting both of those in your site, one in maybe a sidebar and one in your footer.
And for those of you that are hearing it, it's not something that's complex, but it's something that the web marketing company, the local web marketing company that you're working with should know and be able to do this. So these are just kind of tips to look for while you're doing it. It sounds very technical, but at the same time, it's not. You want to make sure that you're doing this properly. I've seen so many websites being built, and the business owner says, okay, well, I just built my website, and then they get a finished product, and it's completely worthless.
Well, for example, I just saw there's a big company in Portland here that's grown substantially, and they do web design. And they claim to do internet marketing as well, and they do some other things. And their whole focus is local businesses, right? Yep. And so I went and I looked at some of their sites that they've been doing, and the designs are nice. They do a great job. And then I started seeing, well, do any of these are all local businesses. These people all need new customers in the local market.
Yeah.
And I went and did
new leads, right? They need new leads. They need more web presence. They need to be found when people are searching locally.
Absolutely. And so I went and did some local intent searches online to see how these sites were coming up, and none of them were being found in Google Maps. And some of them were being found organically because they had the right keywords in place, but as far as local optimization, it was really poor. And I went back to the site and I looked again. I'm like, well, they don't have any of their data. Their data was inconsistent, for one, and the data wasn't formatted in the right way. So it's simple things like that that maybe it leads to all of a sudden your entire internet market local strategy coming together just by having a few of these things, making these changes. Yeah. And then I noticed that a lot of their listings, their business name was different on one site and then the other. address was written a little bit differently. So just
sure. And this has really been it's been a recent shift, has it not? It's been a recent change that Google has, search engines have kind of given and leaned towards local, right? I mean, would you say these are new rules or newer rules, or would you call them rules, or what would you call it, best practices?
I think it's just, Google's really trying, all the search engines are really trying to figure out local search, right?
Yep.
And they're trying to figure out how to make this experience better for the people that use these search engines. And yeah, the importance of these things that I'm talking about, they've been around for a while, but you could rank organically. You probably still can for some of these terms without having to do some of the stuff I'm saying. But if you really want to expand that local search presence and get found mobilely and all these other things, you can't not do this. It's just not, you're not going to be able to compete. This leads me to another point where this landscape, internet marketing, the search engines, it's a rapidly evolving landscape.
Yep. For
small business owners to keep up with this, this is all I do, and this is all that my team does, and we still can't keep up with every single thing that changes on every single directory, and it's just crazy. There's just so much to this. And while I'm giving you the tips, I don't necessarily know if you're a smart business owner that you even attempt to do this stuff yourself.
Sure.
Not that you need to look at hiring us, but you want to leverage your time and your resources the best you can. What do you want to focus on? Is it becoming an internet marketer and learning all this stuff, or finding somebody that can help you do this?
Right.
And even
really finding a company that focuses on local, small to medium-sized businesses, right? I mean, it's really, like we said at the beginning, I mean, very important part of the economy. And like you said, finding a partner, what to look for when you're, sure, by all means, I think people should look at us. They don't have to, but I think people should at least sign up for a strategy session, talk about what they need to do. We'd be more than happy to give them some tips on how to go about this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I just think if you're a smart business owner, you got to find ways to leverage.
Yep.
And internet marketing is probably one of the easiest things you can leverage your time out and outsource to somebody else. Get it off your plate, get it to somebody that can handle this, because you're going to be spinning your wheels trying to figure it out. But if you want to attempt to keep doing this, I'll give you a couple more points.
Sure.
The next thing you built out this website and you want to expand it, is you want to start building out what I call GeoTargeted Pages. And again, Ron, you talked about neighborhoods and zip codes, and think of all the areas outside of just the name of your city that you want to target for new business, and all the services that you offer. Now you want to combine all the services you offer with a targeted page around the area that you're trying to get business from.
Okay.
So, for instance, if I was trying to target Decatur, right, and I wanted to target my roofing company, I'm Fred's Roofing Company, I should create a page on my site around, Decatur Roofing Contractor, right, would be the title of the page. Decatur, Illinois, or whatever you're trying to target, zip code. And in the page, I'd have some good content about what I did for residents of Decatur, and information about the area, directions to my office, my nearest office from Decatur. You can pull that in through Google Maps. And maybe a review for positioning. If it's formatted in the right way, potentially the search engine will pull that in if you use an HReview format.
Yeah.
And there you go. I mean, there's some other things you can do, but.
So, Ryan, let me just ask you a question, though. So the business owner that's listening to this and say, okay, well, Decatur, I'm targeting Decatur. Okay, that's great. But I also want clients in Champaign and Kankakee and, wherever else in that area. So are you saying that I need to develop a geo-targeted page with all of this content and all of the things that you just mentioned for each and every area that I'm trying to target?
for each and every area and for each and every service that you offer. So if you're a remodeling company that offers bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, decks, windows, every single service needs a page for that area. Over time, and you're not going to probably be able to do it all at once.
Sure.
But that's how you have to think about. And that's one of the big things most local businesses are missing. And I don't even give this typically away to this information.
Yeah, this is some good stuff. This is some good stuff for sure. Well, and like as you mentioned, I think the key point there is over time, okay? And I think you want to work with a company that evolves, that has your best interest in mind. You know, this isn't a one and done type shot, okay? This is something that and it can be, look, if you're ready, if you just want to create a website and you want to try to just get started, that's great. If you're ready to start trying to drive business and drive traffic monthly and do a lot of things, I mean, that might be a fit for you too. So, as you mentioned, this could occur over time. It doesn't have to happen day one.
I think most companies should look at it as build it into their budget, internet marketing, local search marketing, and continue to grow it and expand on it with good content like GeoTargeted Pages, blogging, social, integrating all that in a mix of content, which would be my next piece of advice.
Yep.
It's providing a good mix of content on your site as you grow. So photos and videos, you can optimize YouTube videos for geolocations. Photos, the same thing. So if you there's a little tip that we use. We have this theory, and we're not 100% sure if it's correct, but the more of Google's stuff you use, the better you're going to do.
Now I know that you're on a roll here, because that's not something you normally talk about and give away.
I don't. Yeah, we don't really, do we?
So hey, Happy New Year. Let's get people started off right here. That's a little. I know that was an aha moment for you. I think I felt the energy coming from your brain when you thought of that one.
Well, and Google won't outright come out and say that this is true or not. They won't confirm or deny it. But you think about Google as a business. Their primary business is search, but they're building out all these other tools.
Portfolio, all their other portfolio,
Picasa,
other products. Yep.
Google Plus. They have all these other products that they've spent time developing.
Google Drive, Picasa.
You got it.
Mentioned that. Yep.
So wouldn't it make sense then, if you
Google
use
Translate,
Google stuff, that perhaps your marketing in your website would rank a little bit better and be found a little bit better? And I think it does. I don't even know that it's.
Yeah. And I think you're right. But at the same time, and I think it's you can tie this back into, as a small business owner, how to leverage someone that just knows all of Google's products, because I know that I have a hard time even keeping up with Google's products. So, I think you're right. And also at the same time, it's you're offering this information, but with the notion of it's very difficult for a business owner to do that themselves.
So
to try to understand all of those products.
Absolutely. And so, and like even YouTube is massive Google product, right? And I don't have the stats right in front of me, but the amount of people who watch you, the amount of time spent on YouTube is just crazy, and the amount of searches that are done within YouTube. But every YouTube video can come up organically in search as well. So if you're optimizing your video correctly, you can get found for your video as well as your website, as well as a directory, all on the same page. But back to my point about Picasa, it's a photo album, it's a photo organization tool that Google has developed. Now, if you geo-target your photos, upload all your photos into Picasa, right?
Yep.
And before you do that, you can edit the settings of your photo, and you can also edit them in Picasa, I believe, as well. For your company name, put your NAP in the photo settings, right? So you've got another citation source, and now you're using a Google product, and then pull those images into your site. Don't just put your images in and upload from your desktop. Use the Picasa tool, which Google is telling you they want you to use,
right,
to get more,
right,
to get found online, and use it that way. And you can integrate the photos from Picasa right in there. And the last thing, before we go here, last two things is links and citations. I touched on it a little bit. A citation is basically your NAP, your name, address, and phone number.
Yep.
On some other site, right? So you want lots of citations that are all consistent. So there's tons of directories, there's lots of local sites, social sites, lots of places where you can get citations. And that also you can get some links from those as well. Not all of them allow links back to your site. So at the very least, you get the citation. That's still valuable for local search. So the more citations you have, you can rank better in Google Plus Local and other local sites. And then reviews are huge.
I was going to say that was the last one we're missing is the reviews.
And nobody really knows how well reviews influence the ranking of your site in local search, but if you're, again, getting lots of user-generated content, which is what a review is, out there on Yelp and other review sites,
yep,
it can only help. I mean, especially if you have your citation and the link of your site is on this review site, right? I am Fred's.
Well, but here's where it's very important. Sorry for interrupting, but it's very important to make sure that you have accuracy on all of those sites, correct?
That's exactly. So your NAP is perfectly displayed on that site, and then you have all this user-generated content about, hey, Fred's Roofing Company is awesome, we used them last year, confirming to the user again that this is the right decision. And also you've got all this great content. Google's going to look at that and be like, wow, there's a lot of people talking about them. They must be good. And
sure,
way like a social post gets thrown around if it's good.
Yeah, and a little bit of a tangent or a talking point on review sites such as Yelp. So as a business owner, yes, I mean it's great to have those sites, it's great to have those reviews, but you also have to make sure that you're actively seeking reviews from clients. Okay, so Yelp is really a user experience user experience review site, and you're not sure what you're going to get on one of those sites. So good or bad is usually going to happen there, and more often than not, you're not going to be able to influence that review. What I would suggest is using a third-party platform to where you actually go out, take the time to have a third-party company like PME 360 call your satisfied clients and generate third-party reviews, and have those reviews posted on its own website, on its own platform, right?
Yeah, I think you need a mix of both.
Sure.
I think you need
I agree.
Facilitate that within your site. So like you would have a review page or a testimonial page on your site and link right out to your Yelp profile and any other, I think it's called Zagat. I can't never pronounce it right. The Google-owned review site now.
Oh,
link right out to your profile, and if you're a satisfied client, do you mind leaving a review? Facilitate that process, but also be proactive. And this is where we talk about reputation marketing.
Sure.
Be proactive. Call your clients up. Ask them how the job went. Ask them how things went. Ask them if they wouldn't mind if we used that in our marketing and collected that review. Post it on your website in the H review format. Or if you have a service like what we use, we can facilitate that all for you. You just give us the name of the people you want to contact. Never, ever post a review you collect on one of these review sites directly, like Google Plus Local or Yelp. That's a violation of their terms of service. Can't do it.
Say that again.
You're not supposed to. If you collect a review in your office, you cannot go and create an account for that person on Yelp and post that review to your review page.
Exactly. So in other words, you can't go and create reviews yourself.
No, but there are ways of facilitating that process.
Sure.
And it's something that we've been doing for a while, and it works awesome.
Yep. Those are some ways. I hope you're all taking notes. It's as easy as that, right? I know it's a lot of work. again, that's why you should consider leveraging a professional firm to do this all for you. And, I know, Ryan, we've talked about it in the past, talk a little bit about what our offer is. We're offering a 45-minute strategy session, free of charge, no obligation. We can get with you, talk about your business, talk about your goals, what you're looking to do. It's something that both Ryan and I can help you with. Go ahead and take a look at our website, www.pme360.com. Ryan, I know as far as building these websites, I know plans start as low as $595 a month, right, to build out the site and kind of get you started. We also have plans for the advanced business that really wants to dominate. Again, check out our website. Everything's transparent and online there. When you're ready to get started, raise your hand. We'll be more than happy to have this discussion with you. And look, it might not make sense to work together. That doesn't mean you're our next client. That just means you're interested in talking and trying to determine if we are the right fit for each other. So we encourage you to do that. We appreciate your time today, Ryan. I kind of cut you off there. I hope you didn't have anything more. But
no, I would just say that if you're going to pursue this and you're going to go down this road, you really want to look at, having a good website, getting a reputation going online. I think that's crucial, and that is all about reviews and your web presence. And it's not just reviews or web presence, which are local listings and stuff and social. Having that reputation is a combination of a lot of things. So make sure that whatever strategy you implement, that you're including that. And the other things we talked about are a little bit more advanced for some people. Just get going. The longer you wait,
right,
the harder it is to catch up. You're just going to be behind the competitors who have a 3-year head start on you that are already doing this. So I would stress that, put it in action.
It is something that can be affordable, right? It is something that you can implement and develop over time. And it's something that works. We've seen it. We've helped businesses. We've changed their lives.
Money loves speed. So the faster you can implement these things that we talked about, the faster you get new clients, you get new leads, you get new clients, you grow your business. If it takes you a year to build this out because you're trying to do it yourself, you're another year behind. So just figure out a way where you can get the speed into your business, get this thing going, and implement, and you'll reap the rewards for sure.
Fantastic. Ryan, good chat today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.